Hey guys, Chad Chase here. So in this video, I want to talk about a pattern I've been using to scalp NASDAQ that's made it a lot easier for me. See, typically when you're scalping, you're on the smaller time frames, right? You're on the 1 minute chart, you're on the 2 minute chart. And when you're on those smaller time frames, price action can lie a lot, especially when it's a more choppy day in the market. And that's why, like I said, in this video, I want to show you guys a very simple rule, a simple pattern I've been using to help me avoid getting in when the market's super choppy. And honestly, this is just something that's helped me a lot. And I think it's been really helpful for me to avoid certain periods where I shouldn't be trading. And a good analogy to think about this is, let's say you're a surfer. If you want to go in the ocean, you want to go surf, you got to make sure there's waves. If the ocean is just super choppy and there's no waves, it's kind of just back and forth and there's really nothing, right? You're not going to go surfing. And it's the same thing as trading. The waves are the setups and the trades we take. And if there's no waves, I'm not even going to enter the market. So that's a great analogy to remind yourself that. With that said, let's get into the video and I'll show you what that pattern is to spot whether the market's going to be choppy or not, whether it's going to have waves or not. All right, so I have NASDAQ pulled up, and what I used to do was I would just trade on a 1 minute time frame or just a 2 minute time frame. And I still had good discipline, so I was able to be a profitable trader and stuff just using the 1 and 2 minute time frame. But the problem was my win rate was a lot lower. It was lower than 60%, and I was using all kinds of confirmations, whether it was key levels, volume, price action, right? Maybe as a MACD indicator. And my main problem was I wasn't able to determine what the trend is, right? Because sometimes you'll look at the pre-market and the trend will be up and then will go down during the market. Obviously this day that didn't happen. We can see like a day like this, the trend was down and then we chopped around and then we end up going up on the day. You know, the trend always confused me. People always say trade with the trend. It always confused me because I didn't know, like sometimes it would look down on a smaller time frame and then on a bigger time frame it would be up, right? And vice versa. And you know, again, it would just really confuse me because like on a day like today, for example, you know, we would sell off, trend looks like it's going down, then we go up, we got above VWAP, we're pulling back, and then we're getting some green candles. It looks like the trend wants to continue to go up, and then we go down more, and then it looks like the trend is down. And let's say, you know, you're waiting for a pop up to take it short, and then it starts going up more, right? And you're just really confused because again, on one end, it looks like the trend is down. On the other end, it looks like the trend is up if you switch the time frames. And that would really always confuse me until I started doing this. And that simple change I made is simply just adding on these two lines, as you can see right here. Okay, so I have a VWAP and an EMA pulled up. Now my VWAP is default settings. The EMA is a 45 length. Everything else is default settings for those wondering. And basically I found that specifically on the 5 minute time frame, right? So instead of just trading on a 2 minute or a 1 minute, I like to use the 5 minute to tell me what the trend is, what the conditions of the market are, and the 2 minute to actually get my entry confirmations, whether it's volume, price action, the MACD cross, whatever it is. But as far as just the 5 minute time frame to tell me if I should even enter the market, it's also going to tell me if I should be looking for short setups or if I should be looking for long setups. For example, if we go back to the 2 minute time frame, I'm going to go to a day like yesterday. It's a good example. As you can see, we pretty much went up the entire day yesterday. Now, the old me used to would have been like, okay, we're in a key level. What happened here? All right, we're getting some red candles. The MACD just crossed. I'm going to short the market here, and obviously you would get stopped out right away. You could have done the same exact thing right here. Okay, we just broke the highs. This looks like a fake out. We see some red candles. MACD already crossed. I'm going to take the market short. Maybe got 10 points out of the trade. 10 points is nothing on NASDAQ, so that wouldn't have been enough for me. As you can see, would have got stopped out right away after that. So now what I do instead, and which helped me become a way more profitable trader, way more consistent, have a way higher win rate, which is all the things I'm guessing you want, right? Is literally just following these two things, okay? This is basically the pattern you're going to be looking for. The first thing is, are the EMA and VWAP both moving up together on the 5 minute time frame? Then only look for long setups on the 2 minute. Because again, if they're both moving up, then that's going to tell us the trend is up, and I only want to look for long setups. Now, if the EMA and VWAP are both moving down together on the 5 minute, then obviously I'm only looking for short setups on the 2 minute time frame. Okay, and that's it, right? It's very simple to follow. So if we go back to the charts here, as you can see, so far today, it's been a very choppy day. So I'm looking at these two lines, right? Are they moving up or down together? And as you can see, the market started out where they're moving down, but obviously, you know, we got bought up right away. There's no short setups on the 2 minute time frame. There's a long setup, right? MACD cross above here. We went up, But again, I can't go long right there because they're not moving up together yet. Then we came above these two lines, right? And now it's like, okay, I'm only want to look for long setups. Well, if we look on the 2 minute, as you can see, right, there wasn't any long setup. The MACD never crossed to the buy signal, so there's nothing I could take today. So basically today has been a more choppy day, and as more of a trend trader, someone who likes to get in on the trend pullbacks, the higher lows of the trend, this is when I don't want to go surfing, right? I don't want to go in the ocean. I don't want to go in the market. I want to stay out of it. Okay, and the only thing that's keeping me from staying out of it is applying this rule, right? Applying this rule of if they're both moving down, only looking for shorts, don't look for longs. If they're only moving up, then only look for longs, right? And I'm telling you what, on these more choppy days, I know like today has been a hard day for a lot of people because they think the price is going to keep going down or they think price is going to keep going up. So again, you got to know the days when to not trade. And who knows, we still have, a few more hours left in the day. Now we're starting to get above these two lines, right? The VWAP is starting to move up. The EMA is starting to move up. Maybe we'll get a push up here. We'll pull back. And then on this pullback, this is where I can look for a long setup and I can get in and ride it to new highs. And maybe that will be a setup for the end of the day, right? Or we can go back to a day like yesterday. This is a very simple day. And this is where the strategy really shines where, as you can see, the EMA is obviously pointing up and the VWAP is obviously moving up. Okay, so going back to our sheet, we only want to look for long setups on the 2 minute. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the chart. Now we switch over to the 2 minute. We already know what we're looking for. So basically, anytime this MACD gave us a buy signal, I can get in, right? As long as I have some green candles that confirm with it. Okay, so we've got our first buy signal right here. It crossed. Histogram started turning green. We got a nice green looking Heikin-Ashi candle. I can enter long and ride this up based on my risk reward or ride it up to a resistance area, right? Whatever you want to do. Okay, same thing here. Next time it crossed was around right here at 9:10 my time. You could have gone in here, but it was pretty close to resistance. So this is a trade I would avoid. Again, I don't want to go long inside a key resistance level. So I can simply just wait for another setup. So we're going to keep going down. We know we're going to continue looking for long setups because the trend never changed, right? We know the conditions of the market. The waves are going up. And as you can see, next time it crossed was like right here. We could simply get in right here, put our stop below the last lows, and then just ride it up to new highs or our next resistance, whatever you want to do. And at that point, we already got 2 winning trades, right? You don't really need more than that. You really only need 1 winning trade and you can be done for the day. And now I'm going to go back to the day before. You guys can see this. This is June 4th. As we can see, if we look on the 5 minute, this is the first step we always want to do. We want to see, are these things, moving up or down in a direction together? As you can see, they're kind of just all over the place. We're moving up a little bit when the market first opened. I typically don't trade the first 30 minutes and there's no long setups anyways, as you can see. Other than right here, we got a huge move up. This was on news. By the time this candle closed, we were already at a resistance level. So obviously, again, I'm not going to go long when we're in a resistance. Then we came all the way back down. And at this point, we can see, the EMA and VWAP are starting to move in an upwards direction. You can see they're starting to move up. And this is where I actually took a trade on this day. As you can see, we got a buy signal, right? So if it's moving in an upwards direction, then I'm only looking for long setups on the 2 minute time frame. As you can see, it crossed right here on this candle. This is where I actually entered my position and I simply just rode this up to resistance area. And then from there, it was starting to get super flat, right? So this is where you just want to avoid trading altogether. There's not really any direction there. You don't want to enter the ocean, right? And then as you can see, we started to trend down a little bit. The VWAP was pretty flat. So this is where, again, if they're not both moving in a direction together, it's typically better to just not trade. But even if you took this, right? Let's say, okay, I think they're both moving down. The trend is down. Well, again, what are we doing? We're only looking for short setups in that case. As you can see, the only short setup we had was basically like this candle right here where the MACD started crossing. Now, the problem with this is you would have got in right here and we're already at our support area. Right, so again, just like I don't want to go long in a resistance, I also don't want to go short in a support. All right, and then basically from there, we eventually started trending up. The VWAP and EMA are actually moving up together from this point on once we got this good buying. Now I can flip it again and I can say, okay, I only want to look for long setups, right? And I'm going to go back to the 2 minute time frame. We can see We had a long setup basically right here, and you probably would have got stopped out of this trade depending on where your stop was. You know, sometimes I'll put my stop below the candle, sometimes I'll put it under the lows. Like this had good volume, so I'd probably put under the lows here. Kind of just depends how many points you want to risk, but that's fine. Even if I got stopped out right here, right, I'm going to take like a 10-point loss, and then I'm going to wait for another buy signal. And as you can see, we eventually started getting that up here. We got some bigger green candles. MACD started crossing in, could have got in, and again rode this up to new highs, and we would have got a really good trade out of that to end the day. So that's what it really comes down to, and I think that's one of the biggest problems most beginners have is you'll go on a winning streak, right? You'll win for a week straight, 2 weeks straight, and all of a sudden the next day you'll just be losing on every trade, right? And that's because the market changes cycles, right? Sometimes it's trending up, sometimes it's chopping around, sometimes it's trending down. And that can change throughout the day. Maybe the first hour it's very choppy, the next 2 hours it's very trending up, the next 2 hours it's trending down, right? So the biggest thing is you have to be able to adapt with the market. And I think that's really hard for beginners to do because you get a bias of, I just want to go long, I just want to go long. You get a bias of, I just want to go short, I just want to go short, right? Where again, the profitable traders know that you can't have a bias and you have to adapt with what the market is telling you. And if you're just reading raw price action, right, that could be really hard as beginners. So I found that using a simple rule like this, a simple pattern like this will help you be so much more consistent in your trading. And it could be the one thing that will turn you into a profitable trader. Real quick before you guys leave, I want to invite you to join our free trading Discord community. Inside of here, I share my trading plan and my levels every single day on gold, NASDAQ, on ES. Those are the 3 things I trade. I also share my trade recaps, and we have all kinds of other resources and members you can chat and network with inside of here as well. So anyways, guys, like I said, this community is completely free and open to the public. So if you guys would like to join this group, we'd love to have you inside. All you have to do is go to the first link in the description below this video, or just head over to this link right here. With that being said, guys, I look forward to seeing your name inside our Discord. Be sure to introduce yourself once you get inside. And as always, I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. With that being said, as always, I will see you guys in my next video with another day trading lesson.